Many years ago, there lived an emperor who cared so much for fine clothes that he spent all his money on them. He had a new coat for every hour of the day and spent his time riding through the streets so that everyone could see his beautiful clothes. One day, there came two rogues who set themselves up as weavers.
We know how to weave the most wonderful cloth in the world.
The patterns and the colors are marvelously beautiful, but the cloth cannot be seen by anyone who is stupid or unfit for the emperor's office.
I must have some clothes made from this cloth, and wear 'em. I shall find out what men in my empire are not fit for their places. I shall know the clever men from the dunces. Those weavers must be brought to me at once.
So the weavers were brought to the emperor's presence.
Yes, your majesty? What can we do for you?
Here, take the sum of money and work without delay.
The rogues immediately put up to great looms and pretended to be working. They called for the finest silks and the brightest gold, but these were put into their pockets. They worked steadily at the empty looms until far into the night.
I can hear the rattling of the looms. I must see my wonderful clothes.
He decided to send someone to find out how the weavers were getting on, but he remembered that no one who was stupid or unfit for his office could see the cloth.
I will send my faithful old minister to the weaver. He is a very clever man, and no one is more worthy of his office than he.
The good old minister went into the room where the two rogues sat working at the empty looms. He stared and stared and opened his eyes wide,
I can't see a thing.
but he said nothing at all.
Get closer. Is this a beautiful pattern? And the colors, aren't they just wonderful?
And they pointed to the empty looms. The poor old minister put on his spectacles and he bent over the looms, but he couldn't see nothing, for there was nothing to see.
Is it possible I am unfit for my office? Certainly no one must know it. I will never say that I cannot see the stuff. Well, sir, what do you think of it? Oh, it is beautiful, and the colors are great, and the pattern is very fine. I shall tell the emperor that I am much pleased with your work.
We are glad indeed to hear you say so.
They went on talking of the cloth. They named the colors and described the peculiar pattern. The old minister listened carefully, for he wished to repeat to the emperor all that was said.
We need more silk and more gold thread to use in our work.
But all they were given, they put into their pockets. Not a single strand of silk was ever put on the loom. The emperor sent another faithful friend to see the cloth and inquire how soon the clothes would be ready. But this man fared no better than the minister. He stood before the empty looms and looked and looked and looked, but saw no cloth.
Isn't this beautiful stuff? Aren't the colors just gorgeous?
Dear, dear, surely I am not stupid. It must be that I am unfit for my office. That is very strange, but it must not know.
Then he said,
Ah, the design is most unusual, and the colors marvelous. I shall tell the emperor what fine progress you are making.
Soon everyone in the city was talking about the wonderful cloth that the two weavers were making. The emperor thought that he would like to see the beautiful cloth while it was still upon the loom. With a number of his courtiers, he went to the two rogues who were weaving rapidly day after day, without any thread. Among the courtiers were the two men who had already been there. They thought that the others would see something upon the empty looms, so they began to cry out at once.
Look, your majesty, do you see the beautiful design? And the color, isn't it gorgeous?
What is this? I see nothing at all. Am I unfit to be emperor? If that were known, I should be disposed.
Then he said,
Yes, yes, it is very pretty. I could not be more pleased.
his courtiers too looked and looked, but saw no more than the others, yet they all cried.
It is wonderful. The day of the procession is getting near. We have to work with might and main. We have to stay up all night for this.
Through the shining window, the people could see them hard at work. They took yards of nothing down from the empty looms. They made cuts in the air with big scissors. They sewed strong stitches without any thread. And at last they said,
The clothes are ready.
This is wonderful. Let me put on my new suit.
the rogues lifted up their arms as if holding something.
See, here's the coat, here's the cape, and here are the trousers. The coat is as light as a spider's web. You may move as freely as if you had nothing on. That is the beauty of it.
It is marvelous.
And yet all this time they saw nothing, for there was nothing.
Will your majesty be pleased to take off your suit? Then we will put the new garments on before the long mirror.
The emperor took off his clothes, and the rogues pretended to put on each new garment as it was ready. They wrapped him about, they buttoned, and they tied.
How well his majesty looks in his new suit. What a becoming style. What beautiful colors.
The emperor turned around and round before the mirror, and looked and nodded his head.
They are waiting outside with the canopy, which is to be carried over you, Your Majesty, during the procession.
I am ready.
The two men who were to carry the train of the emperor stooped down to the floor, as if they picked up something, and they held their hands high and moved forward. They did not let it be known that they saw nothing. The emperor marched along under the handsome canopy, and all his officers marched. How handsome the emperor's clothes are!
What a perfect fit.
What marvelous colors!
No one would say that they could see nothing, for that would prove him very unfit for his office. No clothes of the emperor had ever been so much admired.
But he has nothing on.
Hush, hush.
The people began to whisper to one another what the child had said.
He has nothing on.
A child says he has nothing on.
He has nothing on.
The emperor heard what they said, and he shivered, for he knew that their words were true. But he would never stop the procession, and so he held himself stiffer than ever, and behind him his officers carried the invisible train.